Welcome to the WIC kitchen. My name is Viji, and today we're going to prepare a pasta and bean soup. First thing, we're going to wash our hands. Clean hands, most important thing in the kitchen. And then we have an apron on, so we don't bring any of the dirt from the outdoors into our food preparation, and we can also keep our clothes clean. The recipe we're using today is in the WIC cookbook, Let's Cook. I want to suggest that you read recipes through at least 2 times so you know exactly how to prepare the dish. First thing, I'm going to wipe off or wash off the tops of my cans. And this is the towel I use to dry my hands. So we're opening a can of diced tomatoes. We are not going to drain this. Cut the lid all the way off so that it comes off, because it's very dangerous when it's on the hinge. You can very easily cut yourself if this is hanging like this. Then we're going to open our white kidney beans called cannellini. Very popular in Italy, especially in Tuscany. It's the main ingredient in minestrone. We're going to take this off, and most beans are preserved with salt. So what we're going to do is take our lid and drain this and give it a rinse. And drain it again. And now these beans are ready for the soup. We're using carrots, onion, and garlic. First, going to cut our onions. Cut your onion. This is the part that grows in the ground. This is the top. Cut your top off. Peel back that first layer. Leave it attached. Perfect diced onions. Easier way to cut them. And a lot of times people talk about crying from the onion, the sulfur, and a lot of times that's right in that root part. I have no problem with sulfur right now, and a lot of times it is in that root part, so this eliminates that. It's always a good idea to put carrots in soup because of the beta carotene and the color. So I'm going to slice the carrot lengthwise, and we're going to cube our carrot. Very important to have a sharp knife. Put these together. There's your cubes. Put each of your ingredients as you finish preparing them into a separate bowl, because most of them do not go in at the same time. Okay. Our last item is garlic. I like lots of garlic in my soup, so I'm going to use a few cloves here. We're going to chop this. It doesn't have to be finely chopped or minced. I'm going to show you how to get that skin off very easily. Take your knife and give it a good smack. Like that. That skin comes right off. These are rather large too, so we're going to use 5 of these. We're just going to chop them. They don't have to be minced. It doesn't have to be finely chopped. We're going to saute them. When we get through with the garlic, we're going to start sauteing the onions. You don't saute garlic with onions. Garlic has a tendency to burn, so you always start your onions first because they take a bit more time if you want to get some flavor from your onions. This is fine. And while we're over here, there's our garlic. We can grate our cheese so we can have that ready. So this is what we're going to sprinkle on top of our soup once it's finished. And the other adornment for our soup is going to be a nice leafy green. Today, we're using cilantro. So cut off the tough stems and go ahead and chop this up too. You can also use flat leaf parsley. That works very well too. If people don't care for cilantro, use parsley. And you just want this as a garnish. You can cut it, chop it as fine as you want. I have a tendency to like cilantro in rather large pieces so you can really taste it. Okay, we are through with all of our ingredients. So let's start our soup. Make sure you get your oil hot enough before you put your onions in. You want to see a shimmer on top. Saute your onions until they are translucent, and that will take a few minutes. Okay, the onions have become translucent. We're going to add just a little bit of the red pepper flakes. It does not add a noticeable heat that will bother people who don't like spicy or hot food. It just gives a nice background, a nice nuance to the food. We want to stir that in, and now we will put in our garlic. And garlic does not take long to saute because you don't want to burn it. The oils come out, and you want to just keep the flavor in there. And I believe at flavoring at every level, so we're going to put in some freshly ground black pepper. We're going to add our carrots. So you get some beta carotene in here. Our drained and rinsed cannellini beans. Our can of diced tomatoes. Okay, one thing about using these cans, you can use them for a spoon rest. And now we're going to add some broth. I usually use vegetable broth, and in something like this you can even use water and still have a very flavorful soup. Of course you can use chicken broth, you can use beef broth. And we're going to use 2 cups, which is going to be half a container. Most of these containers are 32 ounces, which is a quart, and we only need 16 ounces. And now we're going to add some Italian seasoning, which is probably oregano, probably marjoram, could be some rosemary, basil. And let's give this a stir. This is ready to simmer. Use a hot pad or a towel when you do a lid. So this is boiling. Put in our pasta. I'm using about a half a cup of pasta, and that will produce a little over a cup of pasta, which is what this recipe calls for. But you can always prepare more pasta, keep it in the refrigerator, and you have it for a pasta salad. Once you put it into the water, you stir it. And you will be stirring it occasionally as it cooks so that you can keep it loose. And now you just bring it back to a boil, and you put it down to simmer, and you cook it to al dente, which means to the tooth. I've added the cooked pasta to the soup, and the soup is ready. Smells delicious. This is a great meal. This is a very comfort food meal. It has your protein in it with the beans, and it has lots of vegetables, and it has your tomatoes that have the lycopene, which is a fantastic antioxidant for your system. I'm going to garnish with some chopped cilantro, but you can add chopped parsley or, in season, chopped basil. I have some extra sharp cheese. A few grinds of fresh pepper. And a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. My name's Vijay. Thank you for being with me today in the WIC kitchen, and I'll see you next time.